Before we start, if stories like this hit close to home, take a second to subscribe. You're not alone here. I saw my wife in another man's arms under warm string lights, her head tilted the way it used to be when she laughed at my jokes. That was the moment everything I trusted went quiet. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet, like a room after the music cuts. The party was for her firm's annual winter mixer, hosted in a renovated warehouse downtown. Brick walls, candlelit tables, jazz humming low. She'd asked me to come late because she was handling a presentation. That alone should have tipped me off. She used to want me everywhere, hand on my arm, fingers laced, like a habit she never questioned. When I arrived, I texted her, "I'm here." No reply. I stood near the bar, watching reflections ripple in empty glasses. People laughed too hard. Suits loosened. Coats draped over chairs like discarded skins. Then I saw her, Lena, my wife of 8 years, in a black dress I hadn't seen before. Close, too close, to a man I didn't recognize. His hand rested at the small of her back. Familiar. Practiced. She smiled up at him. Not a polite smile. The real one. The one that used to belong to me on Sunday mornings. My phone buzzed. A text from her. Finally. "Sorry, it's loud in here. Be right there." I watched her say something to him. He leaned in. She didn't pull away. When the band hit a softer note, he wrapped his arms around her like it was nothing, like it was allowed. She rested her cheek against his shoulder. I didn't interrupt. I didn't storm over. I just stood there, remembering the last few months, the late nights, the muted phone, the way she started turning her screen down when I walked in, the way she'd stopped asking about my day. I walked out into the cold without saying a word. But as the door closed behind me, one question burned louder than the music I left behind. How long had I already been gone from her life? I sat in my car for a long time with the engine off, watching people smoke and laugh under the heat lamps like nothing in the world had shifted. My phone stayed face down on the passenger seat. I didn't want to see her name light up. I didn't trust myself to read whatever excuse she'd send. When I finally drove home, the house felt wrong. Too neat, too staged. Her heels weren't by the door like usual. The throw blanket on the couch was folded, not tossed. Little signs that she hadn't been here much lately. Or maybe she'd been careful, erasing herself. At 11:47 p.m., my phone rang. Lena. I let it ring. Then again. On the third call, she sent a text. "Where did you go? I was looking for you everywhere." Everywhere except the man she was holding. I typed, deleted, typed again. Finally, I saw you. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Saw what? That did it. I opened my laptop and searched her firm's staff page. It took less than a minute to find him. Mark Ellison, senior consultant, married. The same man whose arm felt too natural around my wife. I scrolled without blinking. Photos from conferences. Group dinners. One picture stopped me cold, taken months ago. Lena beside him, both holding drinks, his hand just barely touching her waist. A touch that could pass as accidental, if you wanted to believe that. Another memory surfaced. 3 weeks earlier, I'd asked why she smelled like a different cologne when she came home late. She'd laughed and said, "Office hugger, you know how people are." I'd laughed too, because trusting her felt easier than questioning everything. At midnight, she walked in, slow, careful, like someone entering a hospital room. "You left," she said softly. "I watched you," I replied. My voice surprised me. Steady. "Empty." She set her purse down. Didn't deny it. Didn't rush to explain. That silence was louder than any confession. "It's not what you think," she finally said. I looked at her then. Really looked. At the woman I'd built a life with. At the distance in her eyes. At the version of her that now felt slightly out of reach. "Then tell me," I said, "because what I think is tearing me apart." She opened her mouth to speak. But whatever truth she was about to reveal, I knew it would change everything. The air between us felt electric, heavy with months of unspoken truths. Lena hesitated, then sank into the armchair, her fingers twisting in her lap. I stayed standing, arms crossed, fighting the urge to grab her, to shake her, to demand something, anything. "It started a long time ago," she said finally, voice barely audible. "I didn't mean for it to feel like this. It just happened." Her eyes flicked toward the floor, then back to me, desperate and ashamed. "Mark, he was there when I felt invisible. When you were always tired, always elsewhere." I wanted to scream. I wanted to break something. Instead, I leaned against the doorway, letting her words sink in, every sentence cut deeper than I imagined possible. She didn't even try to hide the affair anymore. It was an admission, a quiet surrender. "You felt invisible?" I asked. My voice cracked despite my effort to stay calm. "After everything? After the years? The nights I stayed up worrying, the plans we made? Invisible?" She nodded. I know it was wrong. But I needed attention. Someone noticing me." I laughed bitterly, a short, hollow sound. "And you didn't think I noticed when you started staying out late? When your phone stayed locked in your hand? When your smile stopped being mine?" Her face crumpled. "I thought I was protecting us. I thought it was just harmless." Harmless. The word hit me like a fist. My stomach dropped. 8 years of love, of trust, reduced to harmless. I felt a sudden calm after the storm of anger, an emptiness, a realization that some doors, once open, can't be closed the same way. "I can't do this," I said finally. "I can't pretend it's a mistake I can forgive. You chose him. You chose this over us." She whispered my name. I didn't respond. I walked to the bedroom, packed a bag, and left it on the bed. Our bed, the bed we built together. Before stepping out, I glanced back at her. A lifetime of memories, of shared laughter, of Sunday mornings with coffee and paper, of quiet hugs. All of it hung in the air like smoke. She wanted to reach me. I couldn't. Outside, the cold night hit my face. I felt free and broken at the same time. I drove without a destination, letting the streets decide my path. Somewhere along the way, I realized something I couldn't say out loud. Love can hurt, but self-respect heals faster than betrayal. If this story resonates, leave your thoughts below. And don't forget to subscribe, because sometimes sharing the pain makes it a little lighter